Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and welcome back to the next episode of Black Series Yesteryear, the retrospective series where we take a look at Black Series waves of, well, yesteryear. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 11th wave of figures released in the black and red packaging, and we are getting to the very end of Rogue One here with just a couple of small repacks, and the rest of this wave, I gotta be honest, even to date, is somewhat legendary. There was a lot of heat in this wave, so without further ado, let's take the most rapid look at the repacks. They've been repacked like 3 times each now. They repacked K2SO and Director Krennic. This is our wind down on Rogue One. We don't really get a whole lot of Rogue One going forward in the red and black packaging. But they, they were winding down. I don't know if they just had a lot of these guys left in the warehouse or what, but they released them again because they weren't already peg-warming hard to begin with, right? So, don't really have anything to say here. But to move on to the 4 new figures, we are going to start with figure number 38, the Royal Guard. What an insane figure. So, something like the Royal Guard with that helmet design, you're never going to have head articulation, the way that it flaps down in the front and back of the chest. So, this figure does have some very minorly limited articulation, but it being from 2017 does not matter. It still holds up to date, especially considering that all of the bad articulation is like underneath of that awesome soft goods cloak. And honestly, the articulation isn't even that bad, but it's just like anything you want a Royal Guard to do, like stand there holding that spear flanking Palpatine's throne, this guy can do that in spades. And then underneath of that robe, they've actually modeled his armor, which if you only watch the movies, whoever knew they had armor underneath there, but they've modeled the armor to resemble some of the Royal Guard armor as been seen in comic books, so they were able to use this figure to make the Kyrkanos, actually Carnor Jax from the publishing wave, and that's just really, really cool. This figure holds up to date, and I would gladly pick this repacked up any day. I have plenty at this point, but still a very good base figure. Moving on to the next one, figure number 39 is Lando Calrissian. It took 4 years for them to finally give us the 4th original trilogy hero. This is Lando based on his Bespin outfit, where he has that excellent cloak going on with the gold lining, the cape, and he has the pants with the deep cut V-neck shirt going on. Very, very 80s, very fashionable. The always handsome Billy D. Williams has actually been recreated pretty well here for the painted faces. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the best, but they did put this guy in the Empire Strikes Back 40th retro card not too long after this release, and they photoreeled him, and I think that's like the definitive one. But considering this is a 2017 figure, I don't think the articulation is that bad, all said. I think that this one holds up well. I like that he comes with the Rebel Blaster and the microphone that he uses to make the announcement to the residents of Cloud City that the Empire is here. And just a very fun figure, one that was essential, and I'm shocked they took as long as they did to get him out to us, but I am so glad that we got a good Lando. This was a really fun figure to find at the time. Up next, figure number 40. This one is a legendary one still to date, is Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, this one, people love to reference it. Whenever I say Black Series figures don't come with swappable hands, have never come with swappable hands, they're like, what about that one time that Qui-Gon had a swappable hand? So yes, Qui-Gon Jinn is like the one figure, up until recently, in the entire Black Series to have a swappable hand. That's definitely a standard and a precedent that every figure needs to follow, right? But this Qui-Gon Jinn is really, really cool. It's getting to be a little bit dated. He is not the worst Jedi figure in the line. He didn't have the most restricted articulation. He's not 2013 Anakin and Obi-Wan, don't worry. but he's definitely becoming a little bit dated compared to what they've been doing with Jedi figures recently, so I'd like to see a redo. But they've repacked this Qui-Gon a few times now with a variety of faces. This Qui-Gon, they tried to do something interesting where his face is like a rubber overlay, and it's somewhat nightmare fuel, but it's also somewhat not horrible. So it's kind of like a pick your poison. I personally think the Phantom Menace retro carded one that was a Best Buy exclusive in 2021. I think that's all right. Although they also put that same figure in a 3-pack, but there's a new face sculpt with a photoreal. It's a bit better, but this Qui-Gon Jinn was very, very much needed. We had Darth Maul from, since day one. He was in the first wave, and getting this Qui-Gon instantly became a very hard-to-get figure. I never saw this Qui-Gon on shelves. I actually had to pick him up on Amazon back in the day. And back in the day, these figures were still $20. I remember I had to pay almost $30 to get them from a third-party seller, and that was a bargain at the time. He basically never hit retail. But it was just a really good figure, one that was a very exciting drop at the time. And it's one that, again, I think it's dated enough that I would like a fresh Qui-Gon in the line, but it is what it is. I think it's ultimately fine, too. Moving on to figure number 41. This one was insane. The Tusken Raider. Something that I really love with this Tusken Raider is they give you 3 different versions of the gaffy stick. So arguably, you could say you could grab 3 of this guy and have 3 different Tusken Raiders. Plus, they have that long rifle going on. This figure was really, really good. It has a couple of things that date it, like the double-jointed knees and stuff. However, it's underneath of that rubber skirt going on, so it's like, do you really see those or not? They archived this a couple years ago now, and honestly, I don't think we need a new Tusken Raider. I think for what these guys are, for the amount of actual screen time and presence they have, I don't think that I think they could make a much better one today. I don't think it's essential, and that's really saying something for figures of the Red Box era. People love to really talk about this era of figures like it's the worst thing ever, and I think this whole wave of 4 new figures, I think all of these are really good and hold up, to some degree. I think the Lando and the Qui-Gon could use some refreshes just because, they are iconic characters in every way, but the Tusken Raider here, Black Series has always been really good at doing those alien head sculpts, and there's nothing on this that I'm like, you know what, it's bad. There's nothing bad here. I really like how this guy turned out. I think the Tusken Raider is an excellent addition to the line, and I think Hasbro really came out cooking here in 2017. This is all the lead up coming up for the Last Jedi waves, so the next couple of episodes are going to be a little bit Last Jedi focused, and I am completely A-okay with that because that is my favorite of the sequels and potentially my favorite of the saga, so I know that's a bold take, but it's my take and I stand by it, and this whole thing is about my opinions, so what are you going to do? You're here for it, right? So, anyway, I'm going to go work on those next episodes. I look forward to talking about them. But this wave, wave 11, this is a really good wave. I think this is one of those waves of the red and black line that people don't talk about that much, which is sad because they are some very good figures in this wave. And yeah, I think that this is just a legendary new assortment. So, anyways, I'm going to go work on something now. Thank you for hanging out with me. May the Force be with you, and I look forward to talking more about some figures from yesteryear next time. Bye.